Friends, can you believe that there was once a man who performed breathtaking acrobatic stunts without any legs, and an entire family of little people who became Hollywood legends? In this video, I'm going to introduce you to 7 of the most extraordinary medical conditions in history. Real individuals whose stories will leave you speechless. So, make sure you watch this video till the very end. Let's begin. Number 1. Eli Bowen. The legless acrobat. This is the incredible story of Eli Bowen, the man the world came to know as the legless acrobat. Eli was born in 1844 in Ohio, USA, with a condition so rare that even doctors were stunned. He was born without legs, with his feet attached directly to his hips. Imagine being born in the 1840s with such a condition. Medical science had no explanation, no treatment, and society had little compassion for those who looked different. Eli's body ended at his torso, and where his legs should have been, there were only 2 small feet growing directly from his pelvis. Most people in that era would have hidden such a child away, considering him a burden or a tragedy. But Eli's parents made a different choice. Instead of treating him as helpless, they encouraged him to move, to play, to live. As a young boy, Eli learned to walk on his hands with extraordinary skill. His upper body became incredibly strong, his arms muscular like steel cables. He could move faster on his hands than many people could walk on their feet. By the age of 13, Eli had developed such amazing strength and balance that he decided to join the circus. But everything changed when Eli didn't just join the circus, he became its star. He trained himself as an acrobat, performing death-defying stunts that left audiences breathless. He could do handstands, flips, and walk on tightropes using only his powerful arms. He could balance his entire body on one hand, spin, and twist in ways that seemed impossible. What made Eli truly remarkable was not his disability, but his ability. He married, fathered 4 healthy children, and became one of the highest-paid circus performers of his time. He traveled across America and Europe, proving to thousands that physical limitations existed only in the mind. He was educated, charming, and absolutely refused to be defined by what he lacked. Eli Bowen performed well into his 60s, earning respect and admiration wherever he went. He lived to the age of 79, passing away in 1924. His life became a testament to human determination and the power of the human spirit. Eli Bowen proved to the world that disability is not inability, and that with courage and determination, any obstacle can be overcome. Number 2. The Dahl family, Hollywood's little LGNDs. This is the extraordinary story of the Dahl family. 4 siblings who stood no taller than children but became giants of Hollywood's golden age. Born in Germany between 1908 and 1914, Harry, Gracie, Daisy, and Tiny Dahl all had proportionate dwarfism, a genetic condition that kept them small but perfectly proportioned. The 4 siblings ranged in height from just 29 inches to 48 inches tall, about the size of average toddlers. But unlike many little people of their era, they had perfectly proportioned bodies, beautiful features, and remarkable talents. In the early 1900s, people with dwarfism faced extreme prejudice. They were often exhibited in circus sideshows, treated as curiosities rather than human beings, and given demeaning nicknames. The Dahl family's parents, however, saw their children's potential. They were educated, trained in music and performance, and taught to carry themselves with dignity and pride. In 1914, the family immigrated to America, where they joined the circus circuit. But these were no ordinary sideshow performers. They sang, they danced, they played musical instruments, and they charmed audiences with their wit and talent. Then something extraordinary happened in 1932. Hollywood director Todd Browning was searching for actors for his controversial film, Freaks, a movie that would tell the story of circus performers with real authenticity. He cast the entire Dahl family, and their performances were stunning. The movie, though initially banned in many countries, later became a cult classic and is now considered a masterpiece of cinema. Despite their small stature, the Dahl siblings were highly intelligent, business-savvy, and fiercely independent. They earned substantial money from their performances, invested wisely, and eventually bought their own home and cars specially modified for their size. Gracie Dahl was known for her beautiful singing voice, Harry for his comedic timing, and Daisy for her sharp business mind. The doll family performed together for over 40 years, retiring comfortably in the 1950s. They lived long, fulfilling lives, with Tiny being the last to pass away in 2004 at the age of 90. Their legacy changed how Hollywood portrayed people with disabilities. The doll family proved that little people could be stars, not just curiosities, and that talent and dignity transcend physical appearance. Number 3. Hypertrichosis. The werewolf syndrome. This is the chilling yet fascinating story of hypertrichosis, a medical condition so rare and unusual that those who had it were called werewolves. Throughout history, fewer than 100 cases have been documented worldwide, making it one of the rarest genetic disorders known to medicine. Hypertrichosis causes excessive hair growth all over the body, including the face, covering nearly every inch of skin with thick, dark hair. Imagine being born with hair growing on your forehead, your cheeks, your eyelids, even the palms of your hands. In medieval times, people with this condition were hunted as monsters, accused of being cursed, or even burned as witches. The most famous case was Petrus Gonsalves, born in 1537 in Spain's Canary Islands. Petrus was discovered as a child, completely covered in hair, and was taken as a gift to the French King Henry II. The king, fascinated by this unusual boy, decided to conduct an experiment. Instead of treating Petrus as a monster, he gave him the finest education. Petrus learned Latin, philosophy, and courtly manners. He was dressed in fine clothes and taught to behave like a nobleman. But everything changed when the French court realized something shocking. Beneath all that hair was not a monster, but a brilliant, kind, and gentle human being. Petrus could read, write, and discuss philosophy with the greatest minds of his time. He spoke multiple languages fluently and had impeccable manners. What made Petrus truly remarkable was his marriage. He married a beautiful French woman named Catherine, who saw past his appearance to the intelligent man within. Together, they had 7 children, 4 of whom inherited their father's condition. Despite their appearance, the family was treated with respect at court and lived comfortable lives. Petrus Gonsalves lived to his 70s, traveling throughout Europe and becoming a symbol of the Renaissance belief in human dignity. Today, hypertrichosis is understood as a genetic mutation affecting hair follicles. Modern cases are extremely rare, with only about 50 people currently living with the condition worldwide. Petrus's story proved that appearance means nothing compared to character, intelligence, and the content of one's soul. Number 4. Ectrodactyly. The lobster claw syndrome. This is the remarkable story of ectrodactyly, a rare genetic condition that caused hands and feet to develop like lobster claws, yet gave rise to one of history's most famous circus families. Ectrodactyly affects approximately 1 in 90,000 births, causing the middle fingers or toes to be missing, while the remaining digits are fused together, creating a claw-like appearance. The most famous family with this condition was the Styles family, particularly Grady Styles Jr., known as Lobster Boy. Born in 1937 in Pittsburgh, Grady inherited ectrodactyly from a family line that had shown the condition for over a century. His hands had only 2 digits each, fused together like pincers. His feet were similarly affected, making walking nearly impossible as a child. Grady faced constant staring, cruel comments, and isolation. Other children ran from him in fear. Schools refused to accept him. His own father, who also had the condition, made the difficult decision to put young Grady into the family circus act. By age 7, Grady was performing as Lobster Boy, displaying his unusual hands to crowds who paid to see the freak. However, the story took a dark turn. Unlike many others on this list who overcame their conditions with grace, Grady became bitter and violent. His physical strength was extraordinary. His claw-like hands were incredibly powerful, strong enough to crush objects with ease. He became an alcoholic and was known for his terrible temper and abusive behavior toward his family. Despite his condition, Grady married twice and fathered 4 children. 2 of his children inherited ectrodactyly. He could drive a car using special modifications, drink, smoke, and live relatively independently. His upper body strength was phenomenal, as he relied entirely on his arms for mobility. Tragically, Grady Styles Jr.'s story ended in violence. In 1992, he was murdered by a hitman hired by his own family, who could no longer endure his abuse. He died at age 55, but his story didn't end there. His legacy became a cautionary tale. Grady Stiles proved that physical uniqueness doesn't determine character. That's shaped by choices. His condition made him famous, but his choices defined his tragic end. Number 5. Progeria. The disease that steals childhood. This is the heartbreaking yet inspiring story of progeria, one of the rarest and most devastating genetic conditions on Earth. Progeria, or Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome, affects only 1 in 4 million children worldwide, with fewer than 400 cases documented in medical history. Children with progeria age approximately 8 to 10 times faster than normal. A 10-year-old child with progeria has the body of an 80-year-old person. Their skin becomes wrinkled and thin, their hair falls out, their joints stiffen, and their arteries harden with deadly plaque. They develop heart disease, strokes, and arthritis while still in elementary school. Most children with progeria live only to their early teens, rarely reaching 20 years old. One of the most famous cases was Sam Burns, born in 1996 in Massachusetts. Sam was diagnosed with progeria at just 22 months old when his parents, both doctors, noticed his skin becoming tight and his hair falling out. They were told their son would likely die before becoming a teenager. But Sam's story became different. Instead of hiding or feeling sorry for himself, Sam lived with incredible joy and courage. He attended regular school, played in the marching band, loved Star Wars, and had dreams just like any other kid. His body was failing, but his spirit was unstoppable. He couldn't run or play sports like other children, but he found other ways to contribute and enjoy life. Then something extraordinary happened. Sam's parents founded the Progeria Research Foundation, raising millions of dollars for research. Sam became the face of progeria awareness, giving a famous TEDx talk at age 16 where he shared his philosophy. Be okay with what you ultimately can't do, because there's so much you can do. What made Sam truly remarkable was his attitude. He never asked, "Why me?" He focused on what he could control: his happiness, his friendships, his contributions to research. He inspired millions of people around the world with his wisdom that far exceeded his years. Sam Burns passed away in 2014, just days before his 18th birthday, from complications of progeria. But his story didn't end there. His legacy led to the development of the first treatment for progeria, a drug called lonafarnib that extends the lives of children with this condition. Sam Burns proved that life isn't measured in years but in impact, and that courage and joy can shine even in the face of unimaginable challenges. Number 6. Microcephaly. The misunderstood condition. This is the tragic yet important story of microcephaly, a neurological condition that caused people to be cruelly displayed as pinheads in circus sideshows throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries. Microcephaly is a condition where a baby's head is significantly smaller than expected, often accompanied by intellectual disabilities. The most famous cases were Schlitzie Surtees and his companions, who were exhibited in American sideshows for decades. Born around 1901, Schlitzie had severe microcephaly. His head was dramatically small, about the size of a grapefruit, and his intellectual capacity was that of a 3-year-old child throughout his entire life. In that era, people with microcephaly were given degrading names like "What is it?" or "The Last of the Aztecs," and were dressed in bizarre costumes to make them seem more exotic and strange. They were paraded before audiences who paid to gawk, point, and laugh. Schlitzie and others like him had no understanding of being exploited. They smiled, performed simple tricks, and seemed happy, not comprehending their situation. The truth about microcephaly is medical, not mysterious. It's caused by genetic factors, infections during pregnancy like Zika virus, or exposure to toxic substances. The brain doesn't develop fully, resulting in varying degrees of intellectual disability, delayed development, and physical challenges including seizures and problems with movement and balance. However, the story took an unexpected turn. In 1932, when Schlitzie appeared in the movie Freaks, something remarkable happened. The director Todd Browning portrayed him not as a monster or curiosity, but as a human being deserving of dignity. The film showed Schlitzie's childlike innocence and the genuine affection other performers had for him. What made Schlitzy's story particularly touching was the care he received from his circus family. When his legal guardian died, rather than being sent to an institution, other performers fought to care for him. He was loved, protected, and treated with kindness by those who understood him. Schlitzy performed until his 60s, finally retiring to a care facility where he lived until his death in 1971 at approximately 70 years old. His story didn't end as a tragedy but as a testament to human compassion. Schlitzy's legacy helped change how society views people with intellectual disabilities. His life proved that every human being deserves dignity, respect, and love, regardless of their cognitive abilities. Number 7. Dwarfism in the Victorian era, triumph over prejudice. This is the powerful story of dwarfism during the Victorian era, when people of short stature transformed from objects of mockery into celebrated entertainers and respected citizens. The most famous case was Charles Sherwood Stratton, known worldwide as General Tom Thumb. Born in 1838 in Connecticut, USA, Charles stopped growing at 6 months old, eventually reaching a final height of just 25 inches, barely 2 feet tall. In the 1840s, having dwarfism meant a life of poverty, ridicule, or being hidden away in shame. But Charles's life took a different path when he was discovered at age 4 by P.T. Barnum, the famous showman. Barnum saw not a freak, but a star. He trained young Charles to sing, dance, act, and perform comedy sketches. Renamed General Tom Thumb, Charles became an international sensation. He performed before Queen Victoria, met presidents and kings, and earned a fortune. By age 10, he was one of the most famous people in the world. But everything changed when Charles grew up and people saw beyond his size. He was articulate, charming, witty, and business savvy. He learned multiple languages, understood finance, and negotiated his own contracts. At age 25, he married Lavinia Warren, another person of short stature, in a wedding that became the social event of 1863. Over 10,000 people tried to attend. What made Charles truly remarkable was how he changed public perception. He demanded respect and received it. He wore fine clothes tailored to perfection, rode in custom carriages, and lived in a mansion. He proved that people with dwarfism were not lesser humans but individuals deserving of dignity and opportunity. Charles and Lavinia toured together for decades, becoming wealthy beyond imagination. They hobnobbed with high society, invested in real estate, and lived like royalty. Other performers with dwarfism followed their example, including Major Mite, Commodore Nutt, and many others who found fame and fortune. Charles Stratton passed away in 1883 at age 45 from a stroke, wealthy and respected. More than 10,000 people attended his funeral. His story didn't end there, it opened doors. His legacy helped transform how Victorian society viewed people with dwarfism, from objects of pity to individuals of worth. General Tom Thumb proved that greatness has nothing to do with height, and that respect is earned through character, talent, and the courage to stand tall regardless of physical stature. So friends, what did you think of these extraordinary stories? These individuals faced unimaginable challenges, yet they proved that the human spirit cannot be measured by physical appearance. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories from history that will inspire and amaze you. Thanks for watching.